Hey guys, welcome back to another Ambulance Academy video. In this video, we're going to talk about the type of support that you need to run a profitable ambulance company.
Yes. So what we're going to do is share our experiences. I'm going to share my experience starting an ambulance company with no support at all.
I'm going to share my experience starting an ambulance company with support from my sister.
So imagine doing all of the research, market research, checking off all your boxes for your service area. Imagine the demand being there for the type of business you're running. So this is my story. I wanted to be accessible to a highway. I wanted to make sure my rent wasn't over $1,000 a month. I wanted to make sure that rent included my utilities and just to keep my costs low. Also did my research in making sure the service area that I was in was an area that, gave me a lot of demand so that, I could be profitable. So, I checked off all those boxes, but I did not consider accessibility that it would be to my future employees. So I started running my business. I had a huge amount of demand, but ultimately I didn't have a huge pool of employees or applicants to choose from. So it left me really kind of like losing a lot of money. I had to turn down a lot of patients, a lot of money, a lot of opportunity because I couldn't fulfill that need because I didn't have an ample amount of staff to be able to fill it. It was just a time of learning, but I also, in that time, I went through a lot of doubt. I was very intimidated with just negative thoughts. I didn't think I was competent enough. I didn't think that I was skilled enough. Remember, I wasn't an EMT when I first ventured out into the ambulance market. I was just an administrative person. I ended up becoming an EMT before I started my own ambulance service, but I was a new EMT and started my own ambulance service. So I just didn't feel competent, from a patient care side. I didn't feel competent as a business owner and running this business, even though I did have the experience. It was just very, very intimidating. Yeah. I just remember every day was a battle, whether I should close, whether I should get a business partner. So I just made all those mistakes. I had to put on my big girl shoes and figure it out. So I was dealing with all these problems because I didn't have any support at all. I didn't have any coach. I didn't have any mentor. I didn't have any systems or community in place where anybody could help me see anything in foresight at all. And so going back to what I was saying, to be honest, there were so many times I was so terrified and just so intimidated by the process. But luckily, I was able to navigate my way through these problems and make my way to running a profitable ambulance service. Again, I did it with no support, but I want to allow Anthony to share in his experience with having my support and my mentorship when he started his own ambulance business.
And so Tiffany, I actually remember those days. I was in college and you called me
crying,
expressing how unsure you were about this entire business model. But just to, piggyback on what you were saying about my experience, I hit the ground running, you guys. Like, my background was in software. I kind of alluded to that already. So I didn't know anything about the ambulance space as well, but I just, from a distance, was able to see my sister's success and her figuring it out. So when I started mine, I didn't have to worry about what ambulance truck do I need to buy. I didn't have to worry about how do I go about getting insurance. You can't go through State Farm and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to worry about how to get EMTs, how to get patients, what systems do I need to put in place, what billing company should I go with, because she's already made these mistakes and she's already identified the standard and what that should look like in order to build a sustainable, successful ambulance company. So it was honestly like ambulance company in a box, being able to lean on my sister. So everything was streamlined and very easy.
And what about your confidence, brother?
Oh, wow, that's a good point. I was extremely comfortable in the entire process. Like, she explained it as being terrified and being intimidated by the process because it can be a daunting task. You're starting an ambulance company. It's a government agency. It's a lot of moving parts. But I was at no point nervous about the process. I mean, I was using my credit card, so I was living on that. So it was some moments where it's like, Tiffany, I don't know about this. Like, are you sure this is gonna work? And she was like, hey, you're fine. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, whatever I was worried about, it was literally fine. And we kept moving along and everything worked out beautifully. And all of these things I mentioned are extremely important if you're trying to start an ambulance company, get to revenue, because if you're doing these things wrong and you're making these mistakes, they're literally costing you money.
Thousands of dollars, thousands and thousands of dollars.
And as you can see, I had a much easier start than my sister did. I was able to leverage her mistakes and her knowledge to actually get to a place that took her years to get to.
Yeah.
For us, it took us, for my company, it was a lot faster.
Yeah. So what does having a support system look like? We want to talk to you about 3 steps that you guys can actually take to put the right support system in place to run a profitable ambulance service.
Number 1 would be finding a community locally and online that provides support, either advice, forums, videos, whatever that may be. Try to definitely connect with the right
from
people.
other ambulance owners. And number 2, make sure your personal support system is intact as well. Make sure you have proper support from your family. Make sure you have a therapist. So you just need to make sure your personal support system is up to par.
Lastly, guys, importantly, find a coach, find a mentor. Like literally, guys, I was able to learn from my sister's mistakes. And for me, it literally felt like I was starting an ambulance company in the box.
So my name is Tiffany.
My name is Anthony.
We're Ambulance Academy.
And our vision is to create a community where we're educating people on how to properly start, run, and maintain a successful ambulance company. So like, comment, and subscribe if you have any questions. Also, feel free to click the link below and download our 8-step to starting your own ambulance company guide, where we have bulleted out all the steps with our personal advice that can make things a lot easier for you.